How's everyone doing? Good? Having a good Saturday at Momocon today? Lots of festivities? Awesome. Well, welcome to the Working with Rooster Teeth panel. So, can I get a show of hands who here is a fan of Rooster Teeth?
Oh, thank God.
Pretty much everyone. Okay, awesome.
So, it's like half.
Yeah.
So, who here was at the Achievement Hunter panel yesterday? Okay, a good
Oh,
bit.
okay. Well, you're going to be pretty bored.
And prepare for a similar experience. Yeah.
Well, I'll try to keep the questions fresh for you guys. So for those of you who don't know, which doesn't seem like a lot of you, Rooster Teeth is an internet video production company who made their name in game machinima series Red vs. Blue. And and have expanded tremendously since then. So without further ado, straight from Blood Gulch, we have Griff himself, co-founder. He's the co-founder of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter, co-host, creative powerhouse, spoon and thimble connoisseur, Zimmer obsessor, Geoff Ramsey, everyone.
God.
Once again, you continue to be the star of these panels.
Oh, my goodness.
And then, last but not least, entering the ring, we have Remy Tim, Lil J himself, avid streamer, content creator extraordinaire, musician, author, and all-around Jeremy of all trades. We have Jeremy Dooley, everyone.
Hey.
So, yeah, how are you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing all right.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, today's been a fucking day.
Yeah.
A good one. Good day.
One. We knew Saturday was going to be the big day.
It's
at
the big
con.
day, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys gotten to see much of Momocon yet?
Even less than yesterday.
Even
Probably,
less.
yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully you'll find some time later on in the weekend. There's lots of great stuff for you guys to check out. So to clear things up, can you guys kind of elaborate on your own personal contributions to Rooster Teeth and what roles you play?
Yeah, sure. Well, I was a co-founder, I guess I still am a co-founder of, weird to say was, I am a co-founder of Rooster Teeth, so along with Bernie and Gus and then Matt, and with some help from some other people along the way, we started the company. It started as just one cartoon that then kind of, over the course of the next 5 years, expanded into a kind of a full-service niche production company, and then we had some success with an anime called Ruby, and at the same time, I stopped making Red vs. Blue to start making videos with a bunch of idiots playing video games called Achievement Hunter, and that also had some success, and then from there, just kept on kind of creating and producing things along the way. And for a while, I served as the creative director of the company. I'm not doing that anymore. But I make a shitload of podcasts.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're the podcast guy.
How about you, Jeremy?
Oh, my contributions to Rooster Teeth? Wow. No, I came on actually helping out the newly made gaming portion of Rooster Teeth that wasn't Achievement Hunter when I came on, called the How To Crew. And I helped out with How To before jumping into being a full-time member of Achievement Hunter on-camera staff. And then I also, I was in a smattering of different Rooster Teeth productions as they needed me, but then got a chance to produce my own one in a game show called Chump that we had on Rooster Teeth for a while, which was a lot of fun.
Love Chump.
And then, I kind of went on into work from home, moved back to Massachusetts, so when Chump, when everyone else went back to the office, that's when we decided to end Chump. We had the conversation of who could take it over if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I was like, John Reisinger could take it over, and they were like, let's just cancel it.
And they're like, nah, it's okay.
And I was like, okay.
Dude, I will say, I think you should be credited for a specific thing that I never hear. But I think it's sort of a low-key behind-the-scenes thing, but I think you are largely responsible for a lot of the improvisation that goes on in Achievement Hunter now.
I hope.
You were a huge fan of improv coming in, and it was a big tenet of kind of, I think, what you brought into the group. And it wasn't something that we did before you, and it's such a big part going forward. I think that all credit for that part of Achievement Hunter goes to you.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah, man.
We
also all blame.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah, because sometimes it goes a little off the tracks. But yeah, I mean, even with improv, we were lucky enough to do during Extra Life. We had Whose Spot Is It Anyway that we got to do.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
Yeah.
Myself, Miles, Cole, and Trevor just got to go out there and improv, and that was such a blast. So, thank you, Geoff.
Yeah, man, no problem. I pay attention. I was looking at what's going on.
Yeah, so Rooster Teeth has paved the way in a lot of gaming content. You guys were kind of on the forefront of a lot of things, even, podcasting before it was big and machinima and all that. So how did you guys kind of find your niche?
That's a great question. I think it just comes from trying a lot of stuff. Like you mentioned a couple of areas where we found success. But what you didn't mention is all the things that we did that failed, of which there were many. I think that's one of the strengths of Rooster Teeth throughout the years is a desire and a willingness to try new things and to take some weird swings and to totally be okay if they're not always home runs.
Definitely, yeah.
Rooster Teeth definitely also is like the first to do a lot of things. So, like Rooster Teeth takes a lot of chances on things.
Right.
Whether it's like Red versus Blue and like making an internet show before YouTube was even doing stuff like was around.
Yeah, we're before YouTube.
Yeah, and then
Those young whippersnappers.
And then with live shows, like with AH Live and things like that, now there's a ton of live shows with gaming communities and gaming channels and things like that. But when AH Live was first pitched, or Let's Play Live as it was then, that was a really radical new thing.
Yeah, I guess I hate to give Jack credit.
Don't do it.
No, I gotta. He's a homesick. I gotta give him credit. I gotta do something nice for him. That was all his idea, the live stuff. He basically was like, he came to me one day and was like, what's the like Metallica concert of video games,
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of invented that in that moment, and that one was one. Usually, I like to say like we didn't invent Let's Plays. Sometimes people say that to us, and sometimes people say it to me in interviews, and I have to be like, I appreciate the credit, but we were early, but we weren't the first. We didn't invent machinima. There were people that did it before Red versus Blue. But Jack was pretty far ahead on that touring thing.
Yeah.
I think we were about a year ahead of anybody else.
It was very early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking more on the creative process, like you said, with such strong and varying personalities in Rooster Teeth, how do you guys kind of decide on ideas and collaborate on projects?
Well, there's like Rooster Teeth is very open about letting you pitch ideas. They're really good about letting anyone at Rooster Teeth just come in and pitch an idea if they have it, and pushing that forward and letting people hear that. There was even a couple of times at Rooster Teeth where they kind of had these like weeks of pitching. They were like, if anyone has any idea, this is the time to do it. Like you could make your pitch and you could go in and like talk to a big group of people just sitting there listening to all these ideas, and they were picking like several of them to move forward with. So I think Rooster Teeth just made an environment where it was really good to hear ideas from everybody and see, because everyone who works at Rooster Teeth, regardless of what position they're in, they're very creative. Like everyone has ideas and everyone has passions, and so just like the ability to get all those out there was a great way that Rooster Teeth like moves forward with projects.
Yeah, it's one thing. People, when we refer to people at Rooster Teeth, we talk about the talent at Rooster Teeth, and a lot of times people make the assumption that we're referring to online or on-screen personalities like Jeremy, and we mean everybody that works there, because everybody on camera and off is ridiculously talented and very good at what they do, and uniquely special at it. Yeah, I think the nice thing about how Red versus Blue and Rooster Teeth started was it was a bunch of friends in a spare bedroom just kind of bouncing ideas off of each other and enhancing each other's dumb ideas kind of through the collective. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. And so when we made Achievement Hunter, we kind of did the same thing. We locked ourselves, Rooster Teeth was a much bigger company at that point, but we locked ourselves in a spare bedroom and we just all collaborated. And even to this day, if you go into the Achievement Hunter office, if they're not recording something, you're going to see like Joe and Kai having a conversation while Gavin's in the corner, like just, I don't know, hitting something. And then somebody walks over and points out something funny, and then the next thing you know, they're off to the races, creating a sport or a game, and it's just pure creativity, but it comes from feeding off of each other's energy and just being around like-minded people with similar affinities for things, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you spoke earlier about how there's a lot of things that didn't work out for you guys. So could you speak more on like ideas that have been canned that you wish would have worked out for you?
Jeremy.
Yup. Oh, I thought you meant I had a bunch. Yeah, I do.
No, I just meant Jeremy. No, there's been a lot of stuff. Jeremy had a phenomenal idea once to make an animated heist series.
Yeah, I wanted to make the AH Crew, the fake AH Crew cartoon.
And we really tried to figure out a way to make that happen, and that was one that we all believed in, that we thought was really cool, but we just didn't have the money and the resources in the right way at the right time, unfortunately. And I mean, there's been a lot. I love sports stuff, and we've tried a few times to have different sports-related content, either via like Sports Ball or even stuff that I would do for Achievement Hunter back in the day. We tried to make a video game that didn't hit wasn't as successful as we'd hoped. There's been a bunch of stuff. There's been a million series that we created that we thought were going to be awesome that you probably don't even remember. Yeah.
Great. So I noticed that you guys have a very specific sense of humor in the Rooster Teeth skits and production. So how do you guys go about writing and refining your jokes and finding your sense of humor and all agreeing on it? Because I'm sure everyone has like a slightly different sense of humor.
I think that's kind of the beauty of the collaborative nature of it is. Everybody's the unique sense of humor or perspective that everybody brings to the group either enhances with their companions or hopefully clashes with it, which is great too. And it's kind of becomes its own thing, you know?
Yeah, like in terms of writing humor, it's always really hard to do because the second something feels like it was written or scripted, it becomes less funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that's the beauty of improv and like what Achievement Hunter does is like nothing is written. It's like a running gag in Achievement Hunter that there's a script for like the Let's Plays and stuff. But like then for the actual scripted stuff, the ones people end up rolling their eyes at or not enjoying for shorts and things like that are things that, you know, you imagine someone writing the joke going, this'll land. Mm-hmm. And you're like, no, it just doesn't feel like real. It doesn't feel like that kind of humor. And honestly, like the best way to write for that is just to say the jokes basically at each other and see if the other person laughs. And if they think it's funny, then it's going to resonate with the people watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you guys kind of keep the creativity fresh? Like, do you guys research trends? Are you very active on social media?
I speak personally. I am a voracious consumer of pop culture and of other content, and probably not stuff that you would think would influence Rooster Teeth, but through me it does. And I watch a ton of the Real Housewives franchises. Oh my God, I love. Big Kardashians fan. I watch
Love Island.
I love Love Island, Temptation Island. What's another one? X on the Beach. I watch them all, and so I'm kind of constantly inspired by the stuff around me, you know. Yeah. And I see a lot of stuff. I steal a lot of stuff from around the world. I was just talking to Andrew, a guy who I do a podcast called Fuckfaces with today. We were working on a bit, and he reminded me of an idea that I had read about that a band did in 1977 in Houston that I've been holding on to for like 20 fucking years.
It's the most obscure thing in the world.
Yeah, it was just something that I read in like a 2-paragraph thing I read in a punk zine like 20 years ago about this thing this band did in Houston that was very funny and clever that I don't want to say because it'll spoil the thing we're going to do. But I've been holding on to that for like 22 years or something, and then finally today, a pathway to create that idea presented itself, you know? And so you just kind of hold on to stuff and wait to see opportunities for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I actually love how your obsession with reality shows has influenced a lot of your content, like Camp Betrayal. one of my
Oh,
favorite
I loved it too.
productions
Absolutely.
ever.
Yeah.
Hoping for a season 2. And Survive Block Island has those Survivor ties. Yeah, I love it all.
That's all this guy. Survive Block Island.
Yeah, well, and Trevor too. I mean, Trevor was the kind of the well, it's very kind of you to say. Yeah, I kind of helped behind the scenes, but yeah, that whole idea. If you're not familiar, we have a first show right now that we base. It's called Survive Block Island, but we basically, because we are all huge fans of Survivor. Gavin and me and all the Achievement Hunter guys, Michael, all those guys are huge fans. So we recreated Survivor in Minecraft, but we shot it like a reality TV show. So we hired camera operators and treated it like a real reality TV show, and it was so much fun. And
Yeah.
I think it is every bit as good as real Survivor.
Definitely. So with the huge expansion in content, obviously you guys are kind of experimenting with all sorts of forms of entertainment. Did you guys always intend to be more of a variety video entertainment company, or did you not really foresee it being more than machinima and gaming?
I think when it very, very first started, I think Bernie was looking to use machinima to build a following to then launch his traditional film career. Like he and Matt wanted to make movies. I went through a phase in my early 20s where I thought I wanted to do that too. And I was living in New Jersey, and I became a PA at View Askew Productions, where Kevin Smith's company, and I got to do some stuff there. And then I kind of realized that I didn't like that scene as much. I was way more interested in the internet and the idea of entertaining people through that. And I think machinima was probably in my mind where we were going to take it, and then we just realized very quickly that 99% of the games that come out are not conducive to machinima. And so,
Yeah, you tried another machinima in some like a mech game or something, wasn't
yeah,
there?
we did. We did one in Fear called Panics. We did the Strangerhood in The Sims. We did the one you're talking about is called Supreme Surrender. That was in a game called Supreme Commander.
Yeah.
We did a few times, but it's just the games that it works in are few and far between, and more often than not, they're just Halo clones to begin with. So,
Yeah, and everything just changes with time as people, want to expand and watch different things. Even Achievement Hunter, like when I started at Achievement Hunter, it was still just gameplay at that point. Like there were different shows, so now it wasn't just Let's Plays. There was like Go and Trials Files and, Fails of the Week and Hunt were still going on and all that. But then it expanded more into like the between the games scene, and now it's like gone even further into where Survive Block Island is, and AHW is going on, and like all these different things.
I thought AHW was so fucking cool.
It is awesome.
I was bummed
Yeah.
I wasn't in it, nor did anybody ask me to be in it, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I was supposed to be. I mean, I was in it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't physically there, and I was supposed to be. It's just stuff came up, but
Yeah.
It's still going on. I know there's still things going on with AHW.
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
Yeah, and things with RTX and other shows coming up, and I mean, Aaron that's Aaron's baby.
Yeah, I'll check in with Erin and see
Yeah.
if she can fit me into another season.
Yeah, so speaking more on the Halo stuff, you guys have obviously been a huge influence on the Halo game community, and the game itself, like Griffball, has made like a huge impact on Halo. It's part of the game now. So we were just kind of wondering, like, how often do you guys work with the developers? Do you guys work closely with them?
We have had a long-standing, phenomenal relationship that began with Bungie and Microsoft, and then, we still have a great relationship with Bungie, but then it kind of morphed into a relationship with 343 and Microsoft, and they continue to be just like the most supportive partners in the world. We wouldn't be here today if they hadn't given us a shot, in 2003. They had the power to end this, after episode 1, and they came to us and they said, we see what you're going for here. We think this is clever. Let's help you do it in the right way.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
I owe my entire career to the video game Halo, and so we'll always have a great relationship with those guys.
I think there was even an achievement in Halo Infinite that was RVB related or something. They either referred to the tank as Sheila.
There's a moment where when they drop Sheila in at this one where she spawns in, or they call it Sheila.
Yeah.
They say take good care of her.
It's always either the tank is Sheila or the warthog is a puma.
Yeah.
They always do that.
Are there any other game developers you would love to collaborate with?
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, we've worked with Rockstar in the past doing some stuff with GTA, but I just love those guys. I love everything they make. I love all the people that work there. They're just a phenomenal crew, and like any opportunity we have to work with them is great.
They've been great. Yeah, I would love to have a close relationship to Gearbox because
Yeah.
Gearbox is like nearby, and I just love the Borderlands series.
You know, I did a pilot for a TV show with Randy Pitchford once.
Really?
He was a really nice, down-to-earth dude, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I probably still have his email address.
I've like met a couple people from the studio and like, but just like to actually do something close with that
Yeah.
whole universe because they obviously just don't care when you like play their games and you see like what's going on. It's just off the wall, insane, and it just like matches up.
I think we really like the Team 17 guys a lot. We
Oh,
love
yeah, they're
any
great.
opportunity we have to work with them. They make some great stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So besides video gaming, you guys have also been on the forefront of podcasting. So that's actually been a huge part of Rooster Teeth now. Like there's new podcasts being announced like every year. You're in a bunch of them now.
Yeah.
That's like your thing. So have you guys did you guys foresee the boom in popularity with podcasts as it is today, or did you just kind of do it for fun?
No, actually, well, I mean, when we started it, it was a unique opportunity to speak to the audience that we didn't really have up until that moment. I would say like maybe 4 years ago, it kind of hit me that podcasting was entering into what was kind of like hitting another level. And I was just noticing in my own entertainment browsing, I kind of fell in love with podcasting around that time, and as I got more and more interested and listened to more and more podcasts, a lot of celebrity gossip podcasts, I started to kind of see the opportunity, and so Gus had years ago had the idea and pitched Black Box Down, and when I ended up taking over as the creative director, one of the first things I did was say like, greenlit, let's make this, you know. And right around that time, Face Jam, completely, I had nothing to do with it, but those guys came up with the idea for Face Jam, which I thought was brilliant. And then it just started to like fire the creative synapses in my head about different things we could do in different directions. And you started to see how like niche podcasting was becoming so successful, and they're having these like the number one podcast in the world is this show called Crime Junkie, which is just these two women going over true crime. I know true crime's a whole genre now, but and it's just two people talking passionately about a niche subject, and it has such broad appeal that we started to come up with all kinds of ideas for podcasts we could do.
Yeah, definitely.
It felt like a very long answer.
Yeah, so with so many people in Rooster Teeth being involved in their own podcasts now, can you kind of elaborate on what the process is of getting podcasts from concept to production? Do people go through pitches individually, or do you come up with them as a team?
I mean, more often than not, it's just someone has an idea and says, I want to make this.
Yeah, the best way to get something made at Rooster Teeth, honestly, is to have an idea and make it yourself and just show it to people and say, hey, this already exists. It's a thing. Mm-hmm. Put it up on the internet today. It's happened both ways. You know, there is certainly podcasts that require more production assets have to go through a pipeline to get produced, and there has to be resources allocated to that, so it's a little more complicated. But for like the stuff that I do, or that I try to do, like Fuckface, I just record at home with all my personal equipment, and you have an idea and just try to get that idea made as simply and as quickly as possible. And podcasts are great for that.
And there's some podcasts that take a lot more effort because of how niche they are.
Yeah.
What they're like, stuff like Red Web. Like a ton of research goes into each episode of
Yeah,
Red Web.
like they have a research assistant who they pay to do a lot of research for them. Same with Black Box Down now as well. Yeah,
it's like a lot. It's different from Rooster Teeth podcast or like Drunk Tank as it started, and then like Off Topic is basically just say things for a period of time.
Yeah.
Gone. It's like these other ones, like they go in, they have a show with an idea in mind of like this will be the basis of the whole show. Here's the research I've done on it. Here's how I'm going to blow Alfredo's mind today, and like stuff like that. It's a real time sink too. So it's like podcasts aren't super easy to just be like, hey, let's do this one, especially with how saturated the market is with podcasts right now. To stand out, it's like you have to have a really good idea to make sure you want to push forward with it and be passionate about it.
Yeah, that's the key thing is like people. If there's one thing I've learned over this career, it's that people are attracted to authenticity. And passion and authenticity together is a powerful combination, and that's where I think a lot of podcasts succeed. So if you can find, like, if there's a person at Rooster Teeth that is passionate, like really passionate about a subject, and also genuinely authentic about that subject and their love for it, then we support the hell out of them making any podcast. That's exactly how Red Web was made. It's a great example. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it seems like everyone at Rooster Teeth kind of wears multiple hats, especially you guys. You guys have done editing, acting, hosting, everything. So is it like an all hands on deck situation? Like, how are the roles divided there?
Well, a lot of that was by design. Or I'm sorry, that's the opposite of what I meant. A lot of that was not by choice. It was just it was by necessity. Spaced out there for a second. It was by necessity because we somebody had to do the stuff. So a lot of it is like figuring shit out as you go. But as we've grown, we've been able to recognize that being a jack of all trades is great, but you are a master of none, and we want people to excel in the areas that they are the best at. So we've tried to do less of that hat sharing and and help people or elevate people to do the thing that they're the best at. So I think we do it less than we used to, but it's also good because it gives you a well-rounded idea of what everybody in the company does and appreciation for how hard editors work. Or like I ran the store for 8 years, so I know how hard e-commerce is. Yeah.
And like if you work at Rooster Teeth, I mean, you can just ask to be put on a list of anytime they need voice work done. It just sends lists out to people. So that's why like editors pop up as voices in shows a lot because
awesome.
People who work at Rooster Teeth, things go, hey, we need this character in Ruby, or we need whatever if you want to audition.
Definitely.
So they definitely like still welcome that in terms of things like voice acting and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what do you guys wish Rooster Teeth did more of?
Succeed.
Damn. Harsh.
I mean, you have a room full of fans. I think you guys did it.
That's excellent point. I wish we could get back to making another live action movie someday. I thought those were cool. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Like Laser Team and all
Laser
that?
Team.
Yeah, or what was the horror movie we made? Bloodfest?
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
There you go, Bloodfest 2.
But like, I would love if those high value shows could happen more like Haunter, like another Haunter season would be so fun, and or like getting picked up by a TV network or something, and like expanding to, because Rooster Teeth never really broke into television much. I think it's happened, but
Yeah, a few here and there. We had that immersion special. Haunter was almost a TV show 6 times.
yeah, and then they'd watch it.
Yeah, or like something would fall through at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent about the better half of a year of my life going to LA and New York to pitch meetings and networks with that group at Rooster Teeth, and we got so close so many times.
Didn't you often use the pitch of Gavin and the Chupacabra as a selling
Yeah,
point?
that's how I would do it. Yeah.
He wanted to lure in a Chupacabra by putting Gavin in a field covered in goat blood.
Yeah, I wanted to put Gavin naked in a field in South Texas at 2 a.m, just covered in goat blood, and see if we could catch
That
a
was a
Chupacabra.
selling point.
Maybe that shouldn't have been. Maybe we would've sold it
Maybe
out.
that cost it. Who knows?
Yeah, so to kind of round things up before we move on to audience Q&A, I just want to know, like, what's your favorite era of Rooster Teeth? You guys have gone through so many changes. Like, any projects you're most proud of, or like times in the timeline of the company that stood out to you?
I have the benefit of having been at Rooster Teeth for every day of its existence. And so it's kind of hard to pick. Like, there have been some really golden times for me. The creation of Rooster Teeth is one of the proudest moments of my life. Those early days when we were turning Red versus Blue into a company, moving into our first office, buying our first building, creating Achievement Hunter, and kind of, it came at a point in my life when Rooster Teeth had I quit my day job to work in a spare bedroom with my friends, and then we were way too successful, and the spare bedroom went away, and Achievement Hunter was my opportunity to remake that spare bedroom, and that was a really special time for me. But I think I'm going to be lame and say right now, because I really, really like podcasting, and I think that Fuckface has afforded me the most creative freedom I've ever had.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I also look at it like there's a couple different ways to look at what is the the best age of Rooster Teeth because, again, yeah, there are people that are just so passionate about what they're doing right now and getting to do things that they want to do that I think that there's really good, and I know that there's really good things on the horizon, different shows coming out and whatnot. And then also, like, Rooster Teeth, there's some magic to certain eras of Rooster Teeth because I didn't work there. I just got to kind of take it in. Like, I didn't know anything of behind the scenes. It's just, like, the content came out and I got to watch it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, like, the eras of, like, watching, like, every single week, watching Fails of the Week and like, This Is and, like, and Horse and all that. And, like, you could already tell it was like a couple of weeks in, and Jack's already like, all right, so we're doing the H map now, you know? And it was like, watching Horse and whatnot, but it was just like, yeah, just me sitting there being like, what video is out today? Okay, I'm gonna watch that one. Like, that was kind of golden to me.
That was a fun era because I was trying to recreate TV on the internet. So I was trying to make our version of network television. So I was just trying to come up with as much programming as I could to fill in and try to make it as different as possible.
And I was just like a nerd in animation school, so I was constantly doing like all-nighters animating stuff. So I just would have that on, and I just like had a ton of. It's like because I found Achievement Hunter before Red versus Blue. So it was like I watched a lot of Achievement Hunter stuff, and then when I found Red versus Blue, I was like, well, I can binge this for. It was already on like Relocated or something by that point.
Yeah.
I
Great.
like Jeremy.
All right, well, we will start lining people up behind the mic to take audience questions. Please try to keep it to one question. We want to get through as many people as possible and give them a chance. Keep it short and sweet. And yeah, be polite. If you're rude, we'll all boo you.
Hi, I love you guys. If there was one project throughout your whole career with Rooster Teeth or whatever you've done in your lives that you could forget so you could have the pleasure to do it again, what would it be?
Ooh, one project to entirely do again. I hate going back to Haunter, but I just love that experience.
But you would forget it so that way you'd be able to have the pleasure to experience it new again.
So much. Like, I just would want to do it again because it was just like, I don't know, you get loopy around like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. That was I was thinking about that earlier. I was thinking about like the day we were in Australia at the Melbourne jail at like 4 a.m. and we were between shooting. We were about to trick Gavin into thinking we were going to hang him to death.
Just friends being friends.
Yeah. And you saw a ghost, and I remember how cool that moment was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that popped into my head, but yeah. So it'd probably Haunter, but I will say, Gavin texted me a photo yesterday. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary to the day that he and I built Plan G in my living room, or our living room at the time.
Crazy.
And he sent me a photo of us on the day making it and a little video. And I would love to be able to go through that again. Like, I got exceptionally nostalgic.
Plan G is great.
I'd love to relive that, yeah.
Plan G is great. I remember that video so many years ago.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah. I wanted to know if your success has allowed you any opportunities to meet people that you didn't think you necessarily would.
Yeah.
Like at these conventions, you have like Steve Downs and Jen Taylor. I was wondering if there's like been any interactions, stuff like that.
Well, at this specific one, I haven't had anyone. I haven't had anyone yet. There's still time. But at the last convention I did, I went to Comic-Con in Alabama a couple of years ago. And yeah. And I took the cab over, or the Uber over to the convention center with Ron Paulson, who plays like Pinky and Carl Weezer and Yakko and all that. And we were just like shooting the shit in the car, talking to each other, and he was so nice, and he was like, I make a career doing this. He was just like talking like Yakko, and I was like, this is insane. I don't know what's happening. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's been a few. I'm a big fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and we almost did a project with Rob McElhaney, but I got to meet him a few times in that process, and that was fucking wild. That was really, really cool. And I got to meet Billy West very early on, and that was a big deal to me. I'm a big Billy West fan. So
yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that's just conventions. Like working at Rooster Teeth, it's a ton of people. Like doing doing videos with Kumail Nanjiani. He was amazing. And then we had wrestlers like Hangman Adam Page and Sammy Guevara, Luchasaurus.
Oh, yeah.
All of them were just like so great.
People are always just like around too.
Yeah,
like the
they
other
really
day,
are.
I walked in the office right before it was like the day before I came here to record something. And I don't know if you are into stand-up comedy, but there's a pretty popular comedian named Chris DiStefano.
Oh,
he just
yeah.
had a Netflix special come out, and he was just like borrowing our space to record. And I got to go in and meet him and spend like 5 minutes talking to him. And I met Tom Segura a couple months ago. Like it's wild, you know?
Dang.
It's fucking cool. There's been a lot.
They like that one.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hi, this is an awfully specific question, but my older sister actually works with the two of you. Kayla, you just played D&D.
Oh my God,
Wait,
are you Kayla's
really?
sister?
Yeah, I'm her younger sister.
Oh wow.
Oh, hey!
Oh. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Geoff. What's your name?
Riley,
Oh, it's so nice to meet
she
you,
talked
Riley.
about how she didn't want me to, as a baby, like she wanted my parents to take me somewhere else because she was an only child for 6 years.
Well, that's how I ended up being an only child. If you're not familiar, Kayla works at Rooster Teeth, and she appears in a lot of STF stuff.
Yeah.
And we're a very big fan of Kayla.
It's hilarious.
I did a cooking show earlier with it that was so much fun, and then we just filmed. I don't even think we've announced it, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it. But we just filmed a show together last week that was a ton of fun. Yeah. It's so nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. She talks about you.
Oh, hopefully not.
No, not poorly.
All right. Do
Well,
you want me to pass on any information to her? Tell her any?
well, I texted her while I was here, and she was like, "Go ask a question because I just think it'd be fun for me and fun for both of us."
Yeah, it sounds
Can I
like it.
say you guys definitely sound alike? That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Well, my question is there any way you can embarrass her more on the channel?
Yeah. You could probably give me
Dangerous.
some ammunition. That would help. Yeah, I would love to.
Thank you.
It was great to meet you, Riley.
It's nice meeting you too.
So, aside from Haunter,
Yeah, okay.
what would be your favorite series that you were sad you had to let go of?
Ooh, I mean, like stopping Chump was sad.
Yeah.
I did really like doing Chump, but as for like, as for series that ended that, they had a natural end, and I was like, I really, really want to do this again. Lasso, I loved playing Lasso. with the
I
guys.
watched The Lasso.
like Halo 3
repeatedly.
Lasso was just so good.
Oh, it was. Sorry, nerd.
I don't know. It's one of those things where most of the time when we would end a show at Achievement Hunter, at least, because it had run its natural course. Like I was tempted to say go, but then I remembered how sick of making Go I was by the end of it, and how we had to come up with like 250 ideas by the end of it.
Yeah.
It was like how relieved I was not to have to do that anymore. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Go would be interesting to try again with now that a lot of people play more on Steam and like Steam
Fucking
games.
digital
and stuff.
downloads and stuff, though.
I know. Yeah, that's what
It's
was
like-
really hard with Go.
I was telling somebody earlier, like we'd have to call it Go eventually.
Right. It was a lot of like, I'll get this installing. Like, there's 50 gigs that have to get installed. But you're right. Yeah, Go when it was just the discs, that worked out really well.
Yeah. I really wish we could have done, or we had done more Weird Place. I really wanted to do
Oh,
a
that was
season
a really
three.
good one, yeah.
Great one.
All right, thank you guys coming out to the East Coast for us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, this is more of a specific question for you, Geoff, about
Okay.
your shirt. I see that your shirt is a shirt haver shirt. Is that coming to the site soon?
I'm currently wearing a shirt haver shirt. I do have a shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, it's if this doesn't make any sense to you, it's not supposed to. It's a fuckface joke. I think it'll be in the store like in a week or two. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I usually get them like a week or two early. And so
That's what I was thinking. I was just curious. I saw it and I was like, I got to get this shirt on top of all the other ones that I've already gotten.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Build a shirt mountain.
Absolutely.
It's so funny because the joke was we were trying to pick if we should make a shirt haver shirt or a shirt buyer shirt.
Shirt buyer, yeah.
And we were all pretty convinced a shirt haver was the way to go. And almost everybody I've spoken to here has told me the opposite. And that we
No,
There
no,
you
no,
go.
no. Shirt haver is hands down better.
Wouldn't it look
I
good on a
would-
koozie?
I think-
a shirt haver koozie.
With all my other koozies, absolutely.
I know. I can't get
I
them to
think it would
agree.
go with my koozie collection very well.
Would it be a koozie haver at that point?
No, dude, you can have a koozie.
you can have a
still be a
shirt.
shirt haver with a koozie.
I guess. You're just marketing it in a weird way.
I agree.
Because you also have a shirt.
Absolutely.
And that's the point. Thank you both.
No problem. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, you probably remember me from yesterday.
Hey.
Hey, so my question for you is, this is a little bit different. So my question for you is, oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm a weirdo. So my question for you guys, so me and a group of friends, we're actually starting on our own media studio as well, kind of like you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of what's the best way to kind of get things rolling? Because one of my friends, he's moving upstate and everything to try to find like a better job to help with money and everything. So how did you guys kind of get your guys rolling?
Well, step one is not all to move away from each other. That makes it hard.
I'll tell him that later. Thank you.
I mean, I guess it starts with an idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Avengers.
I didn't mean it like that. But Rooster Teeth became a production company because we had the idea for Red versus Blue,
Right.
and the idea kind of outgrew, or I guess we kind of outgrew. It kind of blossomed into something else. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say to find that. Right? I think it'd be weirder to start a company and then try to come up with the focus of the company, then try to figure out what it is you want to make, and then build a company around it. And then
So basically, don't look too much at the big picture and just kind of start small.
Yeah. Just something simple and focused, and start
Okay.
working on that. And then as you guys all work on it together, you kind of figure out who has an affinity for what, and you just kind of start picking your lanes and specialties. Maybe one person is better at doing audio. Maybe one person's a better editor. Maybe one person is good at administration and the business side of it, and you just kind of find your lanes. Is that you? You're the business guy?
More the social media guy, but I try to keep everybody together.
Okay,
I'm just
yeah.
hey, we need to do this, but I
Yeah.
totally get it. But thank you so much, and I'm definitely glad I could ask my questions yesterday and today, but thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you.
Hello, it is me, the shorter Gavin. Less British, but still a lot of sass.
Still pretty Gavin-y.
Yeah. I have a question, especially since we have Jeremy here. What is it actually like the process of being hired at Rooster Teeth? Because a lot of that, because we all know Jeremy just got hired right on the spot along with his buddy Matt. And most people, and I know a lot of people who would love to actually be hired at Rooster Teeth, but I know it must be a very selective kind of process.
It depends on what you're looking to be hired as. You know what I mean? Because if you're looking to be hired as an editor or as someone behind the scenes and whatnot, I mean it's the same if you want to be hired as on-screen talent or anything. Is that you have to pretty much already be doing it on your own and making content. I mean, bringing in people like Joe and Kai and BK, it's because we saw them streaming, we saw them making content, and they caught our eye, and we reached out, and that's, we said at the panel yesterday, Rooster Teeth has a specific person doing that, reaching out to people, and I know Rooster Teeth also does internships, and has a careers page that puts out if we're looking for an editor, if we're looking for someone in marketing, it puts it out there, and then. And just bringing people on. I mean, it was less of it's more of a standard hiring process now. When I came on, I guess it was still just looking for people already making stuff, because Matt, myself, and Trevor were all making videos together on the community channel back then. And so that's how Caleb noticed us and then pitched us to Geoff. And then when we came in and helped out for a little bit when they contacted us, Geoff just floated the idea to me of hey, how would you feel about working here? And I was like, sure. And then he hired me in front of an audience of people before discussing with me, so are you going to move down here, or what's going on? It was this very public hiring.
That was part of my tactic to
Yep.
get you to say yes.
I was very tempting to put on a fake British accent for this. Kind of like how you guys do.
But yeah, I would say the best place to start is just there's a jobs link on the Rooster Teeth website, and any position we post there first.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering that obviously things like Rooster Teeth, they don't come out of nowhere. So I was just wondering if there were any fears or doubts you may have had, whether creating Rooster Teeth or joining Rooster Teeth, and how you overcame them.
I think the question was, do we have any doubts along the way?
Yeah, like any fears, major doubts, or like hurdles or anything.
Yeah. I was working at a tech support company. I'd become a manager, and that's where I met Bernie and Gus, and where we started Rooster Teeth. And they came to me one day and they said, we have a position opening up for a vice presidency at the company. We'd like to consider you for it. I was 28, and I did not go to college. I was in the Army. I barely graduated high school. And so Red vs. Blue was a lot of fun, and it was a great passion project to do with my friends. But getting offered a vice presidency for a kid from Alabama who barely made it out of Alabama was like the coolest thing that anybody had ever said to me. And so I went through the process to get hired, and then they offered me the position. And they told me the only caveat was that I had to stop doing Red vs. Blue so that I could focus on the company. And I quit that moment. And that was the scariest thing I've ever done, and I doubted myself for doing it for a couple of years. Yeah. But it worked out.
And just being in the career we're in, and you're constantly going to have doubts. And like in our position, it's really easy to doubt yourself a lot. You constantly are, if you do something in a video, or that the audience doesn't like as much, or like that didn't resonate with them or whatever, and then it's all people being like, oh, so and so was horrible. But it was like, even if it's just for one video, it's really easy to doubt your own ability, like when you're making hundreds and hundreds of videos, because even just one that you might not perform quite as well in, it really does sit with you.
Yeah.
So you just kind of gotta fight through the doubts every now and again, because you're gonna hit gold like all the time. There's great videos constantly happening, so you can't let like one get you down as much.
Yeah, it's hard. I lived in doubt until I got sober, honestly. So probably like the first 15 years of Rooster Teeth, I didn't believe in myself most of the time. So yeah, it takes time. It's a skill you have to learn.
Okay, thank you. I'm a huge fan. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Hi.
I just wanted to say, Jeremy, I'm still like laughing and enjoying your reaction to the Halo poster I had both of you sign yesterday.
Oh yeah?
Which is really great.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned earlier, that in Rooster Teeth, pretty much anyone can basically bring up a pitch and basically just have an idea that they bounce around. My question is there anything you really look for in what a pitch that would become something that you create later, or does it just happen of, oh, this seems like it would be the right thing to do now?
I mean, there's some element of like right place, right time, but I think more than anything, it's just an idea that we see that we believe in. If you see somebody presents an idea to you, like Jeremy presented the idea for Chump, or like I remember the early days of Ready Set Show when that was being formed, and like you presented somebody and you just go, I just want to see that. Like as a fan, I want to see that made. I want to experience that, and then so. Yeah, you just kind of go from there. Like that's definitely how I felt about Chump. I was very, very excited, just as an example.
Yeah.
Very excited when Jeremy had the idea, and yeah.
It's very easy if you have an idea that you're really excited about to pitch it too early. Like you got to flesh it out and make sure that you have it in a place that, because if you're too excited and you pitch it and then you get asked a question about it that you don't know the answer to, that really hurts your pitch.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, but how are we gonna, make that? How are we gonna market this? How are we gonna do that? And you're like, oh, I thought you'd figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you have to have things. You have it in a good place that you can support it.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is be prepared. There is an art to it, especially. I mean, there's an art to it to pitching stuff to Rooster Teeth, and then it's a different way you pitch within Achievement Hunter. That's in some ways more difficult, I think. But I always, speaking to what Jeremy said, when I wanted to pitch the guys on an idea like Haunter or The Weird Place or Hardcore Monopoly or You're Dead, or like whatever it is, I don't know that I invented You're Dead, I'm just throwing that name out there. Mm-hmm. Go versus whatever it was. I would practice it in my head. Even though I was technically their boss and I could make them do anything, anything, you want buy-in from the talent, right? You want the talent to want do it immediately, to see how exciting it is, to get an inkling of how much fun it's going to be. And so for me, pitching was always like 50% salesmanship. You know, trying to sell them on the idea and get them excited about it and to want to fight to be in it, you know, because there's not enough slots. And so I always kind of approached it like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hello.
So, my question is, what are the biggest mistakes one should avoid when starting their own video production or animation company?
Ooh, I think you hit a really good one of trying to start the company before there is an idea. Like, the company should support the idea and basically like make sure that that's strong. Make sure you have a product that people really want before like going in too hard on like so-and-so productions. We make blah, blah, blah. It's like this, oh, that's so-and-so productions. They made this big idea that we love, you know. Start with that first.
Yeah, for sure. There's kind of a long-standing joke in Hollywood that everybody has a production company, but nobody has a production. And it's pretty true, actually. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's really the biggest thing when
Also,
starting it.
be careful working with your friends. It's difficult. Yeah. Ooh. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Geoff.
Hey.
Hey, Geoff, I got a question. I've been listening to your Fuckface podcast, and it's kind of hard to find, but I listen to it when I ride my bike, and I was wondering, do you still ride your e-bike?
Dude, I ride my bike every fucking day I can. Yeah. I had to, you know, I blew my butt out for a while there, and I had to take like 3 months off. But
Such a way to put it.
It just hurt real bad. My butt hurt real bad.
That's a fine way to say it. Blew your butt out is not as great.
And I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, your butt hurts because you have arthritis, you old ass fucker.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Quit riding bikes so much.
Yeah, and so I had to take like 3 or 4 months off. But yeah, I've been back for, I'd say I'm about like 8 weeks back in, and I'm riding 30 miles a day almost every day.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey.
Hello again.
Hey.
This is Space Cowboy again, yeah. I wanted to ask, what were some of your favorite moments that you actually didn't get on camera? Like there was something that maybe it inspired, something that you later recorded?
I'm so
or just
nervous
something
about what you're laughing about.
We referenced, I'm going way back, but we used to, do you remember Bot from Gears of War?
Okay, so I didn't even work there yet. I was told.
Oh,
about
really?
This. Yes,
Oh,
I was
that's
told
before your
about
time?
Bot. Yes.
There was a bunch of Gears of War videos we made with a robot that we created a whole like character, but those videos never came out, and I don't remember why. But we referenced that fucking bot for years.
I remember there was a lot of things that you guys talked about in videos that you never. That even I, after working there, didn't understand what you were talking about. Bot was one of them. The Butts meeting was one that you talked about a lot. Michael yelled about missing the Butts meeting.
That was like a Michael and Gavin thing.
That was like a
Butts.
Michael and Gavin.
Yeah.
There was a lot of inside jokes. And there was there was one video I remember that we recorded, but it never came out, I don't think. And it was during Haunter, but I think it's when people were freaking out about the scratches.
Oh,
and
when you got
the bottle flip that
demonically attacked. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, remember the bottle flip we recorded that I don't think ever came out? I sat there for like 20 minutes as Geoff tried to flip a half-empty bottle of water onto my head. So I just sat there getting hit in the head with a
You
bottle.
would just go, ow.
Ow. Just
That one
tried to
hurt.
get it to land on my head. And I'm sure it looked hilarious, but it never came out.
I will say the reality is the funniest stuff that's ever happened at Rooster Teeth is probably not on camera. It's just the stuff that happens in the hallway or, you know, at lunch. Just
Yeah,
you know,
but at least
between stuff.
nowadays when it happens, you usually hear about it, like on Off Topic or something.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it is a story still.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Hi. Huge fan of Ruby, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, with all the experience that you have now, if you could go back in time, are there any changes that you would make, or would you just keep it the same?
There's some projects I probably wouldn't work on anymore, like knowing that, you know, like we did all that work on that Grudge Night show that never came out, right? And like, you know, I put hours and hours and hours of time into that. And it's like to go back and just go, you know what? I'm just gonna can it here. Like if I could go, you know, back to me and say,
Yeah, but I mean, like back, like
just
like
cut
back
it off.
before.
Save the time. Work on something else. Or like pitches that I did that didn't work out that I'm like, hey, maybe if you refined it this way, you know, that could come through. It's just like but honestly, you kind of learn from that stuff as well. So it's risky changing stuff because you don't know what you'll miss out on learning. I
don't think I would change any of the content, but I would probably I would fuck with the timeline a little bit to try to
Definitely.
to try to hit zeitgeist moments better. I would have adopted YouTube a lot sooner than we did if I could have changed that. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
No worries.
Hey.
Hi.
So you guys obviously have a lot of people's dream jobs, and when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. But obviously that's not true. So what parts of your job would you say is more of the hard, grueling parts, and like what percentage of that is like the balance between loving what you're doing and also realizing that it's hard work?
My joke answer is to say annual pass is the only hard thing I do.
Yeah.
But I've been so mean to Jack lately. I gotta stop. I think it's all the stuff that the audience never sees. There's a lot of meeting. I mean, Rooster Teeth is behind the scenes a real company, and it has been for a really long time, for about 18 years. And so there's a lot of meetings, a lot of like the business of running a company, which is can be kind of exhausting at times.
I'd say one of the hardest parts about our job in particular is because we're forward facing to the audience. If something happens in the company in like a wildly different department, right, like behind the scenes, if there's something going on, people will come to us for answers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say, well, what do you think about it? Well, what do you know about this? And then we're just like, I'm just playing Halo. Like, I don't like.
Yeah, that has happened a lot in the history of the company of like divisive things between fans and stuff.
And like people want to come to us, and we're just achievement hunter, like so. It's that gets kind of because like, and then at the same time, because that's like the whole company represents us basically is why that happens. But then at the same time, we represent the whole company. So like it can get very nerve-wracking to like we're doing our best to make sure we don't mess up in any way because that's going to reflect badly on Rooster Teeth as a whole because we're the ones that like see you guys and talk to you guys a lot. So
yeah, it is. There's a certain stress and responsibility knowing that like you can say something shitty on camera that can affect the well-being of the 400 people that work with you.
Or even just like on Twitter. Like
yeah,
not
or even just on
to
Twitter.
Rooster Teeth, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Howdy, y'all. My name is Dejan Sneed, and game developer and animator here in Atlanta. Big fan. Had the privilege and the pressure of trying to work with Xbox as my first project out of school. And I wanted to ask you all, how impactful is technology right now, thinking of things like Web3, as far as to where you put your time and resources for your future projects?
Oh, man. Well, speaking of Web 3.0 specifically, it's been a really complicated and difficult thing to navigate. I think that it's, when you think of Web 3, you think of NFTs and you think of blockchain and crypto, and those are incredibly divisive subjects right now, and there are a lot of people that are vociferously against them, and inside and outside of the company, in the community. So it's it's one of those things where it's coming. Web 3.0 is coming. The metaverse is coming. You don't want to be last to the party, but you want to figure out a way to participate in it after all, when it becomes a real business, and when hopefully all the nonsense gets shaken out. I don't know. It's difficult to navigate, and we're trying to navigate those waters right now, and not step in it and make asses of ourselves.
Thank you.
I have nothing to add.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm good. It's really, really freaky to be staring at you because I've only ever looked at you on a video
blink,
screen.
Ben. Come on.
No, I wanted to ask you guys, do you see yourself doing Rooster Teeth forever? I know you've been, no? Okay.
Well,
all right, well, that's it, everyone.
Certainly not this one.
That's it.
That's an answer that I've felt differently about over the years, and over the last couple of years, I've kind of wavered back and forth a little bit. I think the reality is that I have two children. I have my daughter Millie, and I have Rooster Teeth. And Rooster Teeth's actually my first child. Millie's my second, but don't say that. Don't let her know that. That's just timeline-wise. That's just facts. There's nothing I can do about that. And I don't know that I could ever leave. I think I'll be a part of Rooster Teeth as long as Rooster Teeth exists, and hopefully until the day I die. It's been the greatest adventure of my life, and I don't know why I would ever get off that ride.
For sure. Thank you guys so much.
All right, we got to wrap up. I'm so sorry, but what a great note to end on.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything you want to promote coming up?
I just hope that everybody watches Survive Block Island on the Rooster Teeth website. We're very proud of that show. And then listen to Fuckface.
Nice.
All right.
And yeah, just keep watching Rooster Teeth stuff. I stream now 5 times a week, roughly. Twitch.tv/Dooley Noted Gaming. But also, it's been talked about, but another huge production is starting this week on Wednesday. On a lot of different channels with State Farm, and I'm in it, Michael's in it, Alfredo's in it, BK's in it. It's on my Twitch channel, all their Twitch channels. I think Rooster Teeth is streaming it as well.
Awesome.
State Farm's streaming it. It's a big competition thing that's really, really cool. So that starts on
Awesome.
Wednesday.
There you go.
Awesome. Remember to check the schedule for their Walk of Fames. I think you guys have some tomorrow. So if you have any questions or you want to get autographs or photos, make sure you check those out. Thank
Last
you,
chance.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Enjoy Momocon.